It seemed as though McLaren got a pretty good second and fourth place at the Las Vegas Grand Prix on Saturday night, but something very much is potentially going to kibosh that. That is not going to happen if this regulation is adhered to when it comes to wearing down the plank of both of their cars. They are both, as I am recording this, in the steward's room now. It's been a couple of hours. This is absolutely massive, because anybody that knows the rules when it comes to Formula 1, when it comes to the plank, will know that the standard protocol for a plank being worn down too much is disqualified. We saw this earlier this season. Sir Lewis Hamilton got disqualified from the Chinese Grand Prix for this exact reason. Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc back in the US GP in 2023 was disqualified from this. This is a rule that's been around for a very, very long time. But why are McLaren in trouble? Why are they almost certainly going to be thrown out of the Las Vegas Grand Prix? And what does this mean for the World Championship? Because this, like I said, changes everything. If you saw my race review coming out at the same time pretty much as this video, it changes absolutely everything. Let's go into it. So first of all, let's have a look at the official documentation that has been released by the FIA and Formula 1 regarding what the stewards are doing. I'll put it on the screen so you can read it yourself, but I will also read it out if in case you are listening to this instead of watching. The skid wear of cars numbers 81, Oscar Piastri, and 04, Lando Norris, was checked. The rearmost skid was measured on both cars according to the team's legality documents submission in accordance with Technical Directive 39M, item 1.2bi. The measurement thickness was less than 9mm on both cars, which is the minimum thickness required by TR Article 3.5.9e. I am referring this matters to the stewards for their consideration, and that is from Joe Bauer, the FIA Formula 1 technical delegate. The guy basically who gets involved with all the technical sides of the Formula 1 cars, just to make sure they are all above board. It's not just the plank that they check, it's everything. You know, they check everything in their scrutiny, and they are very, very thorough, just to make sure that the cars are legal. You know, things like having the minimum weight or higher than that, also providing a sufficient fuel sample as well from that. You know, it's used for all that sort of things, right? Now, the plank, for you guys who are uninitiated, the plank effectively, it's basically a material on the underside of the car. It looks like a wooden plank. It's not made from wood, but it looks like a wooden piece of material on the underside of the car, and that basically is measured in terms of how much it gets worn down. If it is less than 9mm thick on the back of the car, on the very rear of that device, then it is illegal. You can't have it less than that. Now, you might be wondering, well, why? What is the rationale behind this? Well, it's all to do with aerodynamics, right? Especially in this era of ground effect cars. See, around tracks like Las Vegas and also Singapore, Jeddah, Qatar, you'll see in Qatar in a week's time as well, particularly the night races. You can see in the day races too, of course, but particularly during the night races, you'll see a lot of sparks flying up from the cars, and the reason for this is because the cars bottom out at high speed. That effectively means that the force of aerodynamic pressure on top of the car is so much that it actually pushes the car into the ground, creates a lot of downforce, and also because of that, it does actually mean that the car does hit the floor, hits the road, as it were, as well. The lower the cars run, the less aerodynamic drag they will actually have, because their front profile will be smaller. Compare, for example, just to show you an extreme example, a large truck, right? That creates far more drag than an average road car, partly because of the large profile that it has in front of it. It has a much bigger front-facing area, effectively, right? That's what it is. And Formula 1 is the same. They want to make sure that there is the least amount of aerodynamic drag as possible, particularly around a street circuit where it's very quick, like Las Vegas. If you produce less drags down the straights, then you will be faster. You'll be able to overtake more easily as well. But of course, if you run your car too low, it is unsafe. And also, you gain too much performance advantage. Again, similar thing to that is the minimum weight. If your car is under the minimum weight, there is less mass to be able to accelerate, decelerate, and corner. Therefore, if a car weighs less, then it will also be faster in theory, which is illegal. It's meant to be a level playing field in Formula 1, and you got to draw the line somewhere. Bit of engineering speak there for you guys. I hope that all made sense. I've probably explained that about 20 times here on the channel over the years, but yeah, I mean, it's a slam dunk. I mean, some people might call foul. People go, oh my God, they're trying to engineer Max Verstappen to be in this championship fight. They're trying to create the drama for Netflix and Drive to Survive. Oh, get real, man. Shut up. Like, this is black and white. If those cars, I should say, if they are too wore down with the planks, then they should get thrown out. They should be disqualified. And I say that as a die-hard McLaren fan, right? I don't want to see them get thrown out, but they've broke the rules. If this is true, they've broke the rules. They haven't done so on purpose. I am not accusing them of what anybody says. I'm not accusing them of cheating on purpose. They haven't. They're not stupid. They're not idiots. They'll know that if they do this on purpose, they'll get caught every single time. But for whatever reason, they've messed up. They've blown this. Simple as that. They've just miscalculated this. All the other 9 teams didn't miscalculate this. McLaren have just made an honest mistake here, and they're going to suffer the consequences of it. And the thing is, the reason why it's massive is because, like I said, this absolutely puts Max Verstappen back in the frame for a championship charge here. I mean, obviously he won on Saturday night in Las Vegas, but if they are both thrown out, if Piastri and Lando Norris are thrown out and their points are expunged, right? That means that Max Verstappen is on That means that Max Verstappen is on equal points with Oscar Piastri, and he is 24 points, I believe, behind Lando Norris. I mean, it's still a long shot. It's almost a race win. But my God, he's back in this fight. I wrote him off. I've wrote him off twice. I wrote him off in Spain, and I also wrote him off after Brazil, the previous round as well. But who the hell would have thought the McLaren would get a double DSQ in Las Vegas? I didn't. Nobody did. McLaren certainly didn't. So yeah, that is why, guys, essentially, then it changes absolutely everything. That cannot be overstated. So Max Verstappen would obviously stay as the winner of the Grand Prix. George Russell would move up to second. It'd be a double podium for Mercedes. Kimi Antonelli from nearly the back of the grid to third, it'd be at that point. Charles Leclerc for Ferrari, fourth, great recovery drive from him. Carlos Sainz, after a great qualifying, would move up to fifth. Isaac Hadjar for the Racing Bulls, some good points for him in sixth. Nico Hülkenberg, Sauber, he's not scored points in a while, Hülkenberg, I don't think, so it's great to see him back up there in 7th. Sir Lewis Hamilton would move to 8th for Ferrari. Esteban Ocon and Ollie Behrman would move to the bottom of the points. Double points for Haas, that would be 9th and 10th for the American cars in one of their 3 home races. But yeah, and in typical fashion, while I was editing that video, the decision has come now. They are officially both disqualified. Piastri and Norris out of the race. All the people behind them move up positions as a result. I'll put the official note on the screen here for you guys so you can see it, but the main reason for the decision is here. The rear skids of car 4 were measured and found to be below the minimum thickness of 9mm specified under Article 3.5.9 of the technical regulations. The relevant measurements were right-hand side front 8.88 millimeters, right hand side rear 8.93 millimeters, and the measurement device was found to be accurate. So it's only just below the 9 millimeters that you need. However, it is below that line. The line has to be drawn somewhere, so therefore Lando was disqualified. And interestingly for Oscar Piastri, it was exactly the same. Right hand side front 8.88 millimeters and right hand side rear 8.93 millimeters as well. So yeah, there we go, guys. Absolutely massive. Like I said, shakes up the championship no end. We go to Qatar and it's all to play for. All bets are off after Las Vegas. See you soon, guys.